All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for making time with us today, and we'll be continuing our class today on speaking part one and two. I think we have treated the introductory part of your speaking, where I introduced to you that your speaking will be in three parts, and each part has a specific kind of questions that you'll be meeting. So today we'll be looking at part one and part two. We look at the type of questions that you get over there and how to go about answering these questions. All right. Part one is quite an easy peasy in the sense that there are questions that are just about mostly yourself, and no one knows you better than yourself. All right, so you'll be the best person to give answers according to your state or yourself. All right, now part one, let me reiterate that part one will consist of about 10 to 12 questions. They are quite easy to answer. Okay, and it will take you between 4 to 5 minutes to complete all these 12 questions that you will be asked. All right. And with these questions, if you are answering them, you get to know the type of questions that are being asked. Okay. We call something introductory questions, and we have the interview questions in part one. We'll take a look at them very soon. However, before that, you you actually get into the exam hall where you meet the examiner if it's a face-to-face interaction that you are going to have, or if it's a type of these online based video call exams. Okay, so there are some based speaking that actually happens over a video call where you connect your they will give you a headphone and a microphone, and you will see the examiner on screen where you guys will interact um, through the entire 15 or less minutes that you'll be in there. And the examiner will be speaking, you can hear it, you can also speak, and the examiner will hear. Note that all those conversations will be recorded. Okay, so those conversations are recorded, and they can play it back at any time to reassess you in case you file for a remarking or something um, like that. All right, so before you enter, you have to the greet the examiner. Examiner will offer you a chair, and they would like to inspect your identity document. All right. So if it's your passport that you are sending in there, if it's your national ID that you are sending in there, just be sure to present it. They will take a look at it and they will now push it back to you. Right after that, you will now jump to the introductory question. This is where the examiner will find out whether you study or you work. Okay. So right after that, they'll ask you, do you study or do you what? Do you work? And this question is quite peculiar because it will determine the kind of questions the examiner will be asking you. All right. If you work, the examiner will ask you questions more related to work, work, and work. However, if you are a student and you inform the examiner that you do study, you end up getting, let's say, a question that's about a course that you hate. Okay, so at this point in time, you have to be truthful so that it will be quite easy for you. If you work, just inform that yes, you work at a specific place. Okay, just go straight to the point, answer the question, and if you want to give a little bit of further information, just add it up over there, and you just end for the next question to be asked. Okay, so this is the point where the examiner will pick um, a specific set of questions for you. All right. So if you say you work, they might ask you, do you like your work? What do you like about your work? Okay, we say you study, you can ask you which kind of course do you like most. You understand? All right, so this is where the examiner will pick a path for you based on the answer that you will give. Okay, now let's proceed. So as I said earlier, we have the introductory and the interview type of questions. And let's check this part over here. Okay, the one over here is what? The introduction questions. These introduction questions are just trying to tease out why you do most of the time before you now come and interview you on a specific day activity. All right. So over here, the question was, are you a student or you work? So this is where they would distinguish between. So per the one that you choose, they are not asking you further question. Did you choose this course or job? Or I mean, why did you give us a reason? So if you are working and end up saying you are in school, that won't go against you. So just be truthful, and the other questions will follow suit, and it will be in your favor. All right, because they are not there to stress you; they are there to um, give you questions that you can speak about, based upon which he or she can assess your language ability, your ability to encode and decode the kind of questions. That's your ability to decode a question that you'll be asked, and their ability to encode, okay, the answers back to the examiner or whosoever will be listening to you. All right, so this is what you call the introductory questions. So the second one was, why did you choose this job or course? So talk about your daily routine. So if it's a job, you know how to talk about. If you are a student or you are in school, you are studying, you know how your daily routine is. It's quite different from what if you are working a job. Okay, if you do both, fine. Feel free to tell your story over there. It's good. It's just gonna show the examiner that yeah, you can speak the language, and that's why you went there. You went there to speak the language correctly, fluently, with good pronunciation and grammar. All right. So that's the point. That's the whole point of your speaking. Now from there, the examiner will now then I'll like move on and ask you some questions about shopping. So you know that the examiner is switching. That's where the interview questions comes in. All right. So they'll ask you these kind of questions. Who does most of the shopping in your household? And you proceed and you give an answer. So over here, all right. Now let me talk about the introductory questions first. Over there, when you are asked, do you work or study? Just be precise. Yeah. Just say I'm employed at so so and so. You are good. It means you work. Okay. If you can give little details about your work, that's fine. Why did you choose this job? So you don't actually go much on as in talking for a lengthy period, no, in this part or um in the initial phases. All right, in the initial phases you don't talk much, just give the precise answer. If you have little information, just add it and wait for the following question, because you have 10 to 12 questions to answer within a space of 4 to 5 minutes. All right, so if you end up saying a lot, these questions, who answer them? Okay, even though you are demonstrating your language, you are taking it too far. So you know what to expect there at the at this introductory phase. Okay, at the introductory, you know what to expect, that you are giving precise answers with a little bit of further information if you have it. If you don't, just end your answer with confidence and wait for the next question. All right. Now, when it comes to the interview questions, this is where you can give a little more further information. Okay, so over here, it's quite um, necessary that you give extra information as to the answer that you give. However, it's not all the questions that you get further information to add. Okay, so out of these questions over here, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Out of these 8 questions, if you can give further information on 5 or 6 of them, that's good. That's very good. And the rest, you can just give simple answers to it. That's fine. You're good to go. All right. However, if you can go ahead and give reasons, because you see these questions, they come along with why. What type of shopping do you like? If you say it, they'll ask you why. So they want you to give what? Further information, reason, description as to why is that? Why is it happening? Or why not? Okay. So these questions will be quizzing you to, and they will be expecting that you give what? Further information or reasons to support the point that you are making. Okay, so that's how it goes. In the introductory part, go straight to the point, answer the question. If you have further information, add it. If you don't have, just keep mute and wait for the next question to come. Okay, that's how you go about the introduction questions and the interview questions. Okay, the interview questions, go straight to the point, answer the question, and make sure that you are answering within full sentences. Let me repeat it, answer in full sentences, because your language is being assessed, and you not be speaking like you are chatting on WhatsApp. No, that's not how you do over there. You just be quite professional when it comes to speaking. Let me put it that way. I mean, speak um, very good. No kind of colloquialism and that stuff in there. All right, so that's it for the part one. And when you are done with the part one, the examiner will indicate to you that you are done with part one, and you will proceed to part two. Okay, so in your part two, your examiner will yeah, that's your part two. Yeah, your part two, your examiner will just dash you a pencil and a blank sheet of paper. Okay, a blank sheet of paper. The sheet is not that large, about um let's say 2 centimeters by 4 centimeters blank paper. They dash it together with a pencil. And at that point, as I said in our introductory video, you have 3 to 4 minutes for your speaking part two. That's what we call the cue card or the task card. All right. You are given a task. That's a question prompt that you have to respond to the question prompt. With that question that you have been given, the examiner will give you the opportunity to prepare to speak about this question that you have been given. Mostly it's about describe kind of things. You'll be describing. And one of the things that you describe, ladies and gentlemen, you can be asked to describe an event, you can be asked to describe a person or some people, you can be asked to describe a favorite something. And with these favorites, you can favorite event, it can be favorite person, it can be favorite activity, you understand, it can be favorite place, favorite object, you understand. So the favorites actually cuts across each and every part of these um, topic areas that, excuse me, all right, this part of topic areas that you can be tasked to talk about, right? Now, if you give it a task, you will see the task, the examiner will say, um Your 1 minute time starts now, and at that point, you have a task with you, and you now have to jot down certain things that you will talk about during your 1 to 2 minutes that you will get to speak. At that point, you don't make a lot of notes, as in you are writing notes. It's just only 60 seconds, and trust me, during the examination, to just be like a split second for you. Before you realize, the examiner will be like, your time is up, you may start speaking now. Ladies and gentlemen, so at that point, you don't go writing sentences. Okay, so just jot down points that you know that you can speak at length about. And I'll show you one way. IELTS does something for us that's quite good. They give you a sequence within which you can use to speak. However, you might not be comfortable with it because it might not be sequenced in a way that you prefer or something. And they don't actually care whether the sequence you are following the sequence that has been given on the paper or in the question prompt, or you have your own sequence that you are developing your points about. The goal in here is you are speaking at length. The examiner will not interject you until your full 2 minutes is up. Before the examiner will come in and tell you your time is up, maybe proceed to part three. He or she may ask a follow-up question about part two, which will lead you into what? Part three. All right. So within our introductory video for the speaking test, I made emphasis that these topic areas, as a student going to take IELTS, you have to get at least something to speak about: an event, a person, a favorite something, an activity, a place, an object. I hope you are getting the point I'm making, because you can be given a task card that will be in any of these category. All right, so this is how it is. This is how the topic or the task card will come. Your topic will be there, and they'll ask you, describe an event in your life. Now you see how general the question is. Probably you might be having series and dozens of events that has happened or occurred within your lifetime. However, they are asking you an important event. So to you, the one that you think is important, right, give it to them. And this is how they help you. So you should say, so so you see this type of questions: W, 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 W. Listen, just have you seen something? So this is what's gonna prompt you when it happens. So you're gonna speak when, so timeline, okay, who were there, so people, you understand? If you're talking about time, talking about people, what happened, you'll be talking about the occurrence itself, and what, an activity. Okay, and you have to give a reason why it is what important. You understand? So you see how IELTS has helped you to sequence this. Now let me see if I can clean this. um, Now sometimes you find that it's not, these points aren't adequate enough, and you end up talking about what happened, where, who was there, and why. And let's say you have just used about, let's say, a minute and a half. However, you wanted to get the full 2 minutes to speak. And this is where I give students the opportunity to use the W to their advantage. You see, we are being asked when, we are being asked why, we are being asked who, okay, and you are being asked what. So these W type of questions, you just add the rest. Where? where the event happened. You can talk about where it happened, when it happened, how it happened. All right. So these are extra things that you can add. So you can add how, okay, alongside the where. All right. Alongside the where. And with this, you can give detailed description of whatever happened where, when, who were the people there, what actually happened, how did it happen, and why you felt something about it. Okay, so at this point, if you're able to add these to it, it makes it easy for you to speak at length for that 2 minutes. If you don't take care, the examiner will now come and interject that, okay, the time is up, let's proceed. However, I also want you to speak between 1 and 2 minutes. So if you have spoken at length for about 90 seconds, that's a minute and a half, you are good. I am not gonna mark you down. So far as all the ingredients that they are looking for is there. Your fluency was good, your pronunciation was clear, your grammatical or your grammar sentence structures are good. Okay, and the last one is um that's your fluency is also perfect. Okay, so that's what they are looking for. If all those four components of their marking criteria is met, and you were able to produce um you're able to produce your language within the 1 to 2 minutes, you are good. All right, you are good to go. And you just make sure that you use good vocabulary. Your lexical resources are on point. They are on point because if you are talking about an important event, note that you'll be talking about something that was dear to you. So there are certain words that you have to include when you're talking about events. If you're talking about objects, there are certain topic specific vocabulary that you have to use. Okay, so this event that is important to you in your life, was it your wedding? Was it a festival? Was it a birthday celebration? Was it a party? Okay, was it, let's say, a graduation ceremony? You understand? So that's how it is. And you use topic specific vocabulary to describe the scenes because the question says describes, describe, describe. So that's what you are there to do. All right. And don't worry about the order of these um, W type questions. As in, oh, you should say what happened before you now come to say where it happened, or why it happened, or how it happened. Okay, you are just giving out your language, you are demonstrating your language abilities. If you can order it within your brain and go ahead with that order, that's fine. However, don't be so rigid that I have to finish this before I come to that. No, you can you can speak in any order. You can speak in any order. Okay, you don't need to start from, okay, this happened. So you talk about what happened. Now can I talk about who was there? No. Any order that comes within your brain, go ahead and flow, because that's where your fluency will now go up. That's where they used to assess your fluency, because you are free to speak for 2 minutes. And they will now see whether you are pausing, you are doing and and aim and arm. You see that kind of thing. That's how they're gonna dwindle your score in your fluency. if you stop to be thinking about other things that you have to say. Meanwhile, there will be, or there is something that you could have just jumped to and flow, while the others may come in later. All right. So that's how it is, and I'll entreat you to just use any order that you think is you are comfortable with and go with the flow. Okay. All right. So this is where we end part one and two today. There will be some speaking samples which you can look at within our group, and I wish you all the best. We will continue with part three going forward. Thank you.